Hey world! So, with the recent hype and controversy about Brooklyn Nine-Nine and is it off, is it not, I think there will be new seasons now. I think someone took over the show. I thought it would be lovely to do some Netflix recommendations because yes, I do watch a lot of Netflix, surprise. And yeah, I'm just going to talk about some things I watch on there that I think more people should see. So yes, first of all, obviously Brooklyn Nine-Nine. Love that show so much different representation of various identities, and also the relationships are so funny and cute. The characters are really quirky but in a realistic way. I enjoyed that a lot. And I do have to say that at first I was a bit surprised and maybe also a bit disappointed that we don't really see the cases they work on, but I soon caught up to the kind of personal touch to the storyline. And yeah, I guess everyone who hasn't seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine yet should definitely check it out. Kind of in the same area of shows is Elementary, which is still one of my all-time favorite shows, and definitely not enough people have seen it. It's now in its 5th season. Basically, Elementary is another retelling of Sherlock Holmes, but this time in modern New York. And it's so good. Sherlock in this case is a drug addict, a recovering drug addict, and Watson, in this case a woman, which is such a nice twist, is in the beginning his sober companion who tries to help him get back to his feet, and then she kind of gets swept up in his lifestyle and they become detectives together. And it's just so sassy and clever, and every now and then we get a glimmer of emotion in it that defies all of Sherlock's characteristics in a way that I always feel like the actor himself is surprised by the emotion, and it's such great acting. The cases are honestly really interesting. We get a lot of casework and a lot of plot twists within that. And yeah, as I said, for me personally, it's the best Sherlock adaptation of all. Yes, even better than BBC. I think it's wonderfully done and really interesting in its new takes on the basic story we all know. Then also one I've heard a lot of people talk about is One Day at a Time. And this one is about a Cuban family living in America, with the mom being an ex-soldier and now a nurse, I think. The grandma also lives in the house. Then we have the 2 kids, one of whom is gay, which is also a really lovely storyline. Also heart-wrenching, but still. And the father isn't there most of the time because he doesn't live with the family anymore. And then we have their neighbors slash, I think he owns the house or something, who just comes in and doesn't get what's going on, but is still kind of part of a family. And yes, it has so many important topics within it, and it deals with them in a really honest way. It's a bit of a roller coaster, but definitely worth the emotions. The next one is Everything Sucks, which I really hope will get a next season because I need to know more. Again, wonderful representation. It's really sweet because it's about these kids who I think go to high school in their first year, and it's kind of about them finding themselves in this new surrounding and finding out what they want to do and learn and who they want to be with. And it's so quirky but yet relatable, and basically I don't want to tell you too much about it because I think it's one of those things where you just have to jump into it and be kind of ready for everything, because honestly it's a bit weird, but in a really lovely, cute way. Then we have the film Flipped, which is about 2 neighbor kids who don't really get along in the beginning, but she always tries to be with him, and he's not that much into it, but yet also kind of is. And mostly what's so wonderful about this film is the way it is told, because we have two perspectives and they literally just flip. We always get one perspective. I think most of the time the boy's perspective is first, and you see the scene from his perspective, and then the screen flips and we see from the beginning of the scene her perspective. And I found that so interesting, because a lot of the time you see the other person in the first person's perspective and you try to think about what they're thinking, and you try to like kind of read them and understand what's going on in their head, and then you actually get their story, and it's so interesting. It's also just really, really sweet and heartfelt, and it kind of reminded me a bit of My Girl, if you've seen that film. If you haven't, you should really watch that. And then there's the show On My Block, which, yes, is kind of very heart-wrenching and kind of also a bit traumatizing, at least for me, because it dealt with a lot of violence and gun violence, and just it presented a side of the world that I've never dealt with before and was therefore really shocked with. Like, I knew that that existed, but I've never seen it before. And On My Blog is basically about this group of kids who, again, I think go to high school, and yeah, one of them is kind of involved with this gang and the others try to save him, and then there's also a lot of just teen stuff going on, but always with this serious undertone. The next show is also a bit difficult to watch. It's Alexa and Katie, and Alexa has cancer. And again, these are kids in high school, and Katie is her best friend who does basically everything to help her through this. And this one is way more on the funny side. It's way more on the teen girls, crushes, cute party dresses side. But again, she has cancer, and it doesn't get hushed. I don't know how well the representation in this is, but to me it seemed really well done. So yeah, those are some of my recommendations from Netflix. Just some things I've recently seen on there and really enjoyed, and thought that more people should see that. If you have any recommendations for me that you've recently watched and really enjoyed them, please let me know in the comments. I hope you always have a reason to smile and a good Netflix show, and I shall see you soon. Bye!